Monday, March 31st, and this is just an intro to my 1 week, one shelf challenge. If you have seen my April, like what I'm going to be reading for April, I am essentially doing a 1 week, one shelf challenge. And so this video is going to kickstart the shelf that I did pick for this week, which is children/middle grade. And so I also had randomly pulled a prompt, and that prompt was to read my highest rated book from that shelf. And so from that, I got The Blameless by E.S. Christieson. And so this is also book one in, I guess, the Blameless series. So I am going to start this book today. I'm a day behind, but it doesn't look like it has that it doesn't look like it has that small of a font. So I will be reading this later on today, and then I will come in and give you my thoughts on the book. So it'll be about a blink of an eye for you. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but we'll see. Let me just read the back. Brianna, Princess of Perdona, has lived a happy and sheltered life. Then in a single night, her kingdom is overthrown and centuries of peace are abruptly shattered. Fleeing for her life as her kingdom burns, Bree is rescued by Flinton, Derek, and Cove, three powerful protectors who pledge to teach her how to fight and use the magic that has awakened within her. Bree finds sanctuary in the mountain stronghold of the Blameless, people who receive magical gifts from the gods after performing acts of unparalleled selflessness. Among them, Bree's grieving heart slowly learns to live and laugh again. With the help of her new friends, she strives to master her growing powers so she can avenge her family, take back her place as the rightful heir to the throne, and free her people from the clutches of a tyrant. We will see how I enjoy this book. I will see you guys soon. Good afternoon. It is Saturday, guys. April the 5th. So let's talk about this week. Good news is I have finished The Blameless by E.S. Christieson. The not so good news, this was the only book that I finished this week. Thus, I have to move on to another shelf. And I did not make the progress that I wanted to do with my child/middle grade shelf. So before we talk about the book, let me just go ahead and explain myself. I got sick Tuesday. So I believe that's actually when I started this book. Or maybe I started it Monday. I can't remember. But Tuesday after school, I came home just feeling very fatigued. I had a tickle in my throat and I just had to lay down. I probably read a chapter or two in this, but my eyes just started to itch and I just could not read physically, so I did put it down. Wednesday comes. I felt so much worse. The throat didn't hurt as much, thank goodness, but I was very fatigued and I developed a headache. So I just tried to stay in bed all day, drink tea, ginger tea. Then Thursday was the night of the concert. And so I was feeling better, just very congested. I'm sure you can kind of hear a little bit right now, at least I can. And then, I started to read more of the book. And then Friday, I was feeling so much better. It was just congestion. So it was allergies for sure. So right now it's 4:00 in the afternoon, now that I'm filming this. So that was my week. My week was just busy, as well as getting over these allergies that I had. It just hit really hard. Thankfully, no fever or anything like that, but it was just, I needed to rest. And I think my body was telling me that anyway, because I have been working so hard for this concert, and it went well, by the way. Of course, there were some hiccups in there. However, I'm just so proud of my students. They did so well. So anyways, I did finish this book. And so let's go ahead and talk about The Blameless. All the reactions that I had towards this book, especially towards the beginning, I think was very much mixed up with me feeling just drowsy and tired and everything. So the first half of this book I know was very slow going, and I just did not feel like I wanted to pick it up as much. But once I was getting better, I was finding myself like wanting to read more from this book. So just a disclaimer right there. But let's go ahead and talk about like the characters and the plot. So the first scene that you see in this book is Brianna escaping um, from the castle, and basically she is witnessing her mother, father, and brother being killed, and she's running for her life, and she ends up hiding in this smith shop. And this guy right here, Flinton, ends up finding her. She's witnessing some of these magical powers he has. So they meet up with these two guys, Derek and Cove, and then that's when she kind of realizes, oh, they're Blameless. And so the Blameless are a group of people who essentially are gifted these magical powers by their version of their world's version of like the Trinity. So like God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, but they name these the Trinity kind of like Terran, Solus, or some other name I can't really remember, but they represent sun, earth, and wind, or something like that. So that's where they get their powers from. And basically she kind of learns how they receive these powers, and then she was told that she had some sort of power within her. She kind of is witnessing, and learning about their powers and everything. So they take her to this village, and essentially she kind of finds out that she has these powers as well. So that's kind of like that first part of the story, the gist of the story. And I will say that I did like the three characters, kind of like her guardians. They call themselves her uncles. Well, she names them uncles because she, has lost her family, and so she ends up staying with this guy and his family, but she refers to these three as her uncles, and they're teaching her how to handle the power within her, channel the power within her. And it's just her growing in that. And then you meet the villain, and the villain is someone who I thought was very well written, very well thought of. And yeah, as a middle grade book, like I said, I felt like it was slow going at first. It took me a while to get used to the magic system, just because I know it's very allegorical. I felt like what the author was doing within the book, but I felt like I wasn't just grasping the magic system that well, especially when you deal with the different powers and how it connects with either the sun, the earth, or the wind. But I think any questions I had ended up getting answered later on. So I think it's a unique magic system, very different from what I've personally read. My favorite uncle, I would have to say, has to be Cove. I don't know. I enjoyed him. He's like more of like the funnier uncle, or just like the jokester kind of doesn't take himself too serious uncle. Uh Flinton, he's very much like that burly guy, protector, but got that soft spot, like that teddy bear uh soft spot. And then Derek, he's pretty much like very stoic to me, has this like mysterious past to me. And I mean, you'll get to see some of his story later, but he's like the matter of fact uncle, very kind of serious. So those three really balance each other out. And yeah, so I did enjoy the found family aspect of this book. So just know that when you do read it, it is pretty much allegorical to like Christian themes. It does have magic in here. And there is some violence, but it's not graphic. But there are some sad moments, especially when you find out what is kind of happening to the Blameless, and then what the villain does to basically to exert power. So I do plan on getting book 2 just to finish out the series, but as of now I would say that I would rate this probably like a 3 or maybe a 3.5. Christian fiction rating I would say would be, I don't know, maybe a 2.5, maybe a 3. I haven't really worked that out yet because, again, it does refer to the Trinity, and there is like some holidays that are reminiscent of Christian holidays, and so excellent read. I'm glad that I at least finished the book in time for this short segment. So let's go ahead and see what I will be reading this next week. Okay, so I have my 12-sided die. So let's go ahead and see what shelf we're going to go to this month or this week. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay, so that is a 12. So right here, a 12 is Husband Picks a Shelf. Let me go ahead and show that this was highest rated. So let's put this back in here. And I'm just going to mix these all up. Possibility of getting that again. Okay. Let's see. Let's just do one more for good measure. Okay. Let's pick that one. Okay, so we're on the lowest rated. Great. Okay, so I have no control over this, but as you saw, I hit shelf number 12, which is my Husband Pick a Shelf prompt. And on top of that, I have to read the lowest rated on that shelf. So my husband was not here, but I did give him a phone call. So I read all the shelves that I had, and I told him that, you know, I'm not going to give him a preference of what I want. Just go ahead and pick a shelf. It is okay. Because he was really trying to see what I wanted, and he thought about picking the mood reads shelf. And I was like, no, I really want you to pick for me. So he kind of told me a little bit of his thought process, and he goes, you know, you have been really getting into fairy tale retellings this year. At least he remembered that from February. And he's like, I remember you're really excited about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick your fairy tale retelling shelf, which I was very excited about because I added a ton of new ones on there. Plus, I'm sure that there are some series I could potentially finish. So I already have my fairy tale retellings thing pulled up, and I did look at my lowest rated, and I've already read that. So I'm just going to keep scrolling. The next lowest rated book I have is going to start a new series, and this is the Daracot Tales and by Melanie Dickerson, and this is called Court of Swans. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the picture of what I will be reading next week. And then in that first video, when I do my introductions, I will read you the synopsis of the book. And I think that would also give me a good introduction. So yeah. Okay, I'm excited. Before I go, I just want to mention one thing, and that is what my husband has read this week. His updates are going to be few and far in between, I feel, just because I read a little faster than my husband does. And so he might have like a book he finished every 2 weeks or something. So the book he is currently working through is Habits of the Household. As you can see, he is like right in the middle. And I know you've probably seen this book before. He did pick it up on a TBR, did not finish it, and then he's kind of been taking it in small chunks. But now this is the book that he is like getting through and going through solely, because this has been like in addition to like one of his other fiction books, but he is determined to finish this. So he is halfway through, and hopefully by next week He could be pretty close to getting finished, and then we can tell you what he feels about this book, and then I will share what the next book he decided to pick up. Okay, that seems like everything that I have for you now. As always, if you have any questions, link them down below. But yeah, did you read The Blameless? Or has this been the first time you've heard about it? Let me know also. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in another video. Bye.